Can Zhen Huan, blessed with both beauty and talent, truly outshine all in the imperial harem and enjoy everlasting favor? Returning to the palace early, I saw a courtyard full of eunuchs and palace maids busily watering and loosening the soil around the flowers and trees. I couldn't help but laugh. The pear blossoms have just started to bud, and you are already urging them to bloom. Huanbai approached with a smile on her face. Miss, there's good news today. A couple of crabapple trees in front of the hall have several buds. I was delighted. Really? I was too focused on walking inside and didn't pay much attention. We should go and have a look together. The palace staff were all young, and at my suggestion, who wouldn't love a bit of excitement, they all crowded around me and walked to the front of the hall. Indeed, among the green leaves, there were several bright red buds, like the first touch of rouge, elegant as young maidens. The flowers were not yet in bloom, but a faint fragrance was already in the air. I laughed. According to the ancient books of flowers, there are 4 grades of crabapple blossoms: the Western Mansion crabapple, the Weeping crabapple, the Papaya crabapple, and the Stick crabapple. Although crabapple blossoms are charming and beautiful, most of them are scentless. Only the Western Mansion crabapple is both fragrant and beautiful, the finest among crabapples. Xiao Yunzi quickly added, Our young mistress is knowledgeable and talented. We servants have much to learn from you, and it gives us great pride to speak of this in front of others. I playfully tapped him on the forehead, prompting laughter from everyone. Lu Zhu laughed. Xiao Yunzi has a way with words that always cheers up the young mistress, making us seem clumsy in comparison. Xiao Yunzi looked up at her with a smile. If Sister Lu Zhu is clumsy, then I must be utterly tongue-tied, never daring to speak up in front of you. Lu Zhu, flattered by his words, said, You're so good at making me happy, I'll make you a pair of insoles as a reward tomorrow. Xiao Yunzi bowed deeply. Thank you, sister. How could I dare wear shoes made by you? I'd rather keep them by my bed and think of your kindness every day. Lu Zhu couldn't help but spit lightly at him. You've already bowed, so I can't back out. I'll make you a good pair for sure. I said, If you're making them, don't forget to make a pair for Xiao Lianzi as well. Both of them thanked me, and gradually everyone dispersed. As night fell after dining, I sat in front of a red lacquered table adorned with the motif of 5 bats representing longevity, flipping through the book of songs. The moonlight was soft outside the window, and the air was fragrant with the dew and the gentle breeze, making for a serene and pleasant night. The black characters on the white pages of the book of songs, which usually felt sweet in my mouth, somehow failed to hold my attention tonight. The moonlight was like silk, and the shadows of the trees swaying in the wind outside the window seemed like the elongated silhouette of a person. My thoughts wandered, and the characters in the book seemed to turn into dark pupils, swirling chaotically before my eyes amidst the sparse shadows of apricot blossoms, bringing a layer of calm and a layer of coolness. My mind suddenly shifted to the day's events, and my heart softened. The candlelight flickered, reflecting the sheen of the satin on my clothes, reminding me that I was in the Ingsen Hall, and I gradually calmed down. But for some reason I felt flushed and restless. Turning a page of the book at random, I came across the poem Cho Mao. Cho Mao ties up firewood with 3 stars in the sky. Which night is this night to see such a fine man? Oh, such a man, how fine he is. Cho Mao ties up hay with 3 stars in the corner. Which night is this night to encounter such a person by chance? Oh, such a person, how serendipitous. Cho Mao ties up reeds with 3 stars at the door. Which night is this night to see such a radiant person? Oh, such a person, how radiant he is. Feeling both embarrassed and flustered as if my innermost feelings had been laid bare, I hastily closed the book in annoyance. My status is so different from his. Where does the idea of a fine man come from, let alone the 3 stars? Suddenly I remembered Wen Shichu's words. Once you enter the palace gates, it's as deep as the sea. And with a snap, I threw the book onto the couch. Jin Shi, startled by the noise, hurriedly brought over a cup of cherry blossom honeydew, saying, Miss, perhaps you're tired from reading. Take a break and have some honeydew. I drank it in one gulp, but still felt restless and bored. Glancing at the red lacquered table with its flaking paint, I casually asked, The paint on this table is peeling. Why hasn't someone from the Internal Affairs office come to fix and repaint it? Jin Shi looked slightly troubled. Xiao Yunzi has already gone to ask. They should be coming in the next few days. I nodded. The palace is busy with many affairs. It's understandable if they are a few days late. I merely sat in silence. Coincidentally, Pei was whispering to Xiao Yunzi outside the window. Why did Xiao Lianzi look so gloomy when he came back this afternoon? Jinxi's expression changed slightly, and she was about to speak up to stop them when I immediately looked at her, silencing her. Xiao Yunzi chuckled. He went to the Internal Affairs office and came back after enduring quite a few cold words. Pei was surprised. All this trouble just to get some paint for the table, and still no results after several visits? What do you know? Xiao Yunzi's voice grew even lower, his frustration evident. Those contemptuous people not only insulted Xiao Lianzi but also disrespected our young mistress, speaking all sorts of vile words. Jinxi's expression turned sour, and she was about to leave when she saw my calm demeanor and decided to endure it. Pei spat in disgust. Those scoundrels in the Internal Affairs office don't respect our young mistress at all. Last winter they even skimped on our mistress's charcoal allowance. If it weren't for concubine Huey's gift of silver charcoal, we might have been suffocated by the smoke. Now they're even more lawless, making it difficult to even repair a table. Xiao Yunzi urgently whispered. Keep it down, the young mistress is still inside. It would sadden her to hear this. Pei lowered her voice, her worry evident. What are we to do? The days ahead are long. We servants can make do, but our young mistress is already ill and shouldn't have to endure this additional stress. She angrily added, that Huan Guiquan, just because he's a distant relative of Prince Hua, acts so arrogantly without knowing his place. Xiao Yunzi replied, Please madam, bear with it a little longer. We don't want the young mistress to feel upset. Xiao Lianzi has been pretending nothing's wrong when serving her. You should at least keep it from her. After their conversation they both went back to their tasks. I felt a sting in my heart, moved yet saddened, but I pretended not to have heard anything and simply said, If the Internal Affairs office is busy, we'll just make do with what we have. It's not a big deal. Jinxi softly replied, Yes. I looked up at her and said, Tonight's conversation as if it never happened, you haven't heard anything and neither have I. Do not blame them for a single word when you go out. Jinxi agreed. I sighed. Following a master like me has indeed caused you all a lot of grievances. Jinxi hurriedly knelt down, her expression urgent and moved. Why would you say such a thing, my master? It breaks our hearts. Serving you we feel no grievances at all. I asked her to rise, sighing. In the imperial harem, people are drawn to power and influence. It's common for them to flatter the high and step on the low. Why should they care about a master like me, who has been ill for a long time and without favor? We should just live our days quietly. Jinxi was silent for a while, tears welling up in her eyes. If it weren't for your illness, with your beauty and talent, you would surely not be inferior to consort Hua. Realizing her slip of the tongue, her expression turned slightly startled. I calmly said, Everyone has their own fate. What's the use in forcing anything? Seeing me say this, Jinxi quickly changed the subject. Are you tired of reading, my master? How about some embroidery? Staring at those stitches makes my eyes sore. Then I'll bring the zither to serve you, my master. I'm feeling too stifled. I don't want to play. Observing my mood, Jinxi suggested. My master dislikes the long and boring nights. Why not invite Consort Hui, Princess En, and Princess Chun to come over and draw lots for games? Thinking it a good idea, the only good idea, I said. Prepare some snacks and have Pin Air and the others invite the young masters over. The little palace maids, eager for some excitement, immediately went with their lanterns.
Follow us to avoid getting lost and enjoy endless exciting stories. For more content, please go to the Story Wall homepage to view more exciting novels.